Right, hello everyone. When Andy approached us about doing this, I think initially somebody else was going to do it because I'm more of, the writer than the speaker, but I'm going to have a go anyway. Listening to some of the stuff earlier, the history stuff I thought was, interesting because, I always class myself as somebody who's interested in history, but a lot of the stuff I had no clue about really, and I think that was a bit of a crime because, there's so much stuff that has been in our doorstep that we don't know about. And I think with the football, I've been going about 20 years now. I'm 21 now. No, that's a lie. About 20 years, and I've had a lot of good times watching Barrytown football. But a lot of the history I wasn't aware of until the last few years when, the club has been endangered and we've looked for reasons as to, should we keep this going or should we let it die, essentially. And I read about this guy, Bengt Bernhardsson, who played in the 1950s and 60s for Barrytown. Now this guy, he played in the World Cup for Sweden, and literally the next year signed for Barrytown, and things like that. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't know, but I found, fascinating, really. And then when we were listening to the about the music earlier, and we were talking about the the different things that Barry doesn't have, the Cardiff does. And I think, we don't have the cinema anymore, we don't have these different things, but we do still have a football club which has history upon history upon history. So that's really why we've kind of thrown our weight behind trying to save it. Slight tangent there, but so I've got some notes. First slide, in May 2011, Stuart Lovren, who is this gentleman here, decided he was no longer willing to support Barrytown football financially, and as such would withdraw the team from the league and the youth teams from their respective divisions. Go on. The Barrytown Supporters Committee, the logo is up there, been formed in 2008 following a number of years of instability at the club. Took it on itself to make a proposal to run the football itself, taking on all the financial responsibilities. So basically, everything he was no longer willing to fund, we took on because it was either that or we're finished, And the reasons why, you see up there the number of team photos, the different games around Europe. There's a lot of history, and we thought it'd be a shame for something that our community has built up, for all that to, just be resigned to history, I suppose. The financial implications, we'd have to pay for the training costs, the ground hire, travel expenses. We worked out about £12,000 to £15,000 for the season without the bar supporting us, so, obviously that's quite a lot of money. We also needed a team to be able to compete. And a lot of the teams in our league have been spending, significant amounts of money. That's some money on the screen in case. But our manager, the gentleman at the top, Gavin Chesterfield, he's recruited a squad that's willing to pay for nothing, which is, in these days of football where everybody's like footballers, they're only in it for the money. These boys definitely aren't. They're in it for the history and for keeping it alive and the pride in the shirt, I suppose. To show these kind of players the commitment to them, to make them want to be at the club, we've maximised what strengths we have to give them the best possible experience. So, we've given them the best training facilities we can give them. We've called in a lot of favours. We've made a lot out of a little, really. Again, because we've had to, because the alternative is, doesn't bear thinking about, really. So around 18 months into our tenure running the football now, the Supporters Committee's built up a reputation, reinstating the lost standards off the pitch and seeing this translate into a lot of success on it. We were top of the league a few weeks ago. You can see the goals going in there. Sorry. And all this hard work has been matched by our players, translated onto the pitch. If you want to whack it on slightly. Yeah, I've messed up. 2 seconds. Yeah, a key to the regrowth, I suppose, of the football has been we've rebuilt bridges with the council, which has been something we've wanted to do for a number of years, and a number of owners had failed to do that, sadly. But they've repaired things, we've repaired things, we've worked hand in hand. And as you can see there, you've got supporters giving up their Sunday mornings to paint the gates, to sweep the stands, and you've got the council invested in the pitch. So we've tried to work together rather than against each other, which I think, makes sense, really. The crowds at the ground, they are going up gradually. And we've offered a lot of free entry days, and we've tried to boost the crowds. It's difficult economic times, but it's still a good standard of football. And gradually the people are coming back. It's a lot of fun, as you can see in the pictures as well. There's a lot of flags, a lot of colour. We try to make a lot out of a little again. Getting the media on side has been important. We found that, once people were aware of the story and the difficulties that, just ordinary people, I guess, had found, they were more than willing to help. Barry District News, fantastic. Bro Radio, excellent. We've been in When Saturday Comes magazine, which is quite a popular football magazine. So we're doing okay there. But a lot of the, growth of what we're doing has been social media. We're the most followed Welsh pyramid team on Twitter, which is quite something, really, I think. About 4,500 followers. Yeah. So rebuilding the community, I suppose, has been another thing we've been trying to do. And we've organised social events, like on the screen, made a lot of new friends, raised funds, which has been vital to keeping us going, keeping us playing football, because obviously when you're talking 12 or 15,000, you've got to get the money from somewhere. So we've been trying to give people good nights, and they've been giving it back to us. Sadly, this has not been at the football club itself, but that's another story. So yeah, we've been bridging the gap between the players and supporters. The setup of the football it's more of a family now than I've known in 20 years being involved. You can see the coach trips and the colour, and all ages, all, both sexes, old, young, from Barry, not from Barry, but all brought together by this community thing. And if it wasn't there anymore, there'd be no reason for these people to be together. But because it is, they are, and together they're a lot stronger for it. Yeah, we've done our best to make our players feel special and, reward them in whatever way we can. They're the most photographed Barrytown team ever, and some of them are quite ugly, so that's quite something. And they feature highly in the matchday programme, which is something the supporters themselves have printed themselves, written themselves. It's a DIY thing entirely, really. And also the YouTube channel there, they can watch the highlights back. It's making them feel, good about playing for Barrytown, even though there's no money for them to do so. Two seconds. Yeah, so the hard work was matched by the players and translated onto the pitch, where we had our best run in a decade in the Welsh Cup, winning a Merthyr, it's in the top photo there, very nearly winning in Newport County, it's in the bottom photos, and then we went to Haverfordwest on the way, beat them, so the achievements really have been a lot bigger than really we were entitled for, but that's a testament to the players, and I think we egg each other on, really, and the results have been there to see. And the biggest reward probably for everybody was the Cardiff City Friendly in August. That was entirely organised by the supporters. drew a crowd of about 2,000 people to Jenner Park for the first time in a decade. Supporters, they manned the gates, the whole ticket setup was organised by the supporters, and it just shows that people in Barry can, put on an event of this scale. I think it's fantastic, basically. I was very proud. Meanwhile, our youth links have been strengthened as well. We've got a lot of kids want to be mascots, so we added with the Keep Calm and Barry on shirts as well at the Cardiff game, and then our youth teams have got under 12s, under 16s, under 19s, and they all want to play for Barry Town, so it's become something of privilege again, which is what it should be with the history it has. And the awareness of what we've been doing has spread as far as Australia, with the Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, among those to send letters of support. Got a few others there, Charlton, Rangers as well. And last week, well actually this month, is the 100th anniversary of the club being formed, so we had an event in Cardiff. Fantastic support for this event, 100 years of Barry Town. We had all players there, old memorabilia, and we've also started inducting players into the Hall of Fame, which you might see down the bottom, which is recognising the achievements of players throughout the 100 years. So again, it's about opening people's eyes to what we used to have at Barry Town and how we can use it, to bring a bit of pride back into it again. And yeah, from here, you might have seen in the press that the status of the club seems to be threatened again. And it's pretty annoying when you think that, the cinema went when there was still a demand for a cinema. And I think much with the football, I think there's a place for cheap, good football that kids can go and watch in Barry on a Saturday afternoon. They can get picked up, they're fine, they've enjoyed a good game, and and it's something that they can say, hey, I'm from Barry, like these players who are doing so well. So yeah, despite what, we've got a lot of obstacles off the pitch in terms of getting a new owner, in terms of getting the club into the hands of the community legally, but we've taken this on as a bit of a mantra, I suppose. Keep calm, Barry on. And we've got a match tomorrow, and so that's what we're going to try and do. We might not win, but we'll have a go. So much like me tonight. So, all right, thank you.